Hi guys, in this video we're going to be doing trigonometric functions. So we're first going to do triangles. So in triangles we've got non-right angle triangle and a right angle triangle. So in this one it's a combination of non-right angle triangle and a triangle. So as you can see, the top one, triangle PC or CAP, it's a right angle triangle. So it's a right angle triangle because of this 90 degrees. So you've got a 90 degrees there. Then here they said x is equals to 60 degrees. So they gave you x there. On 5.1 they said show by calculation that x is equals to 60 degrees. So we're gonna prove that, by the way. So I normally take out the top part, the part that they want, cap, right angle triangle, cap. So I'm gonna solve it separately. So we're gonna take the top part. Okay, so on the top part, you know that for a right angle triangle you use SOHCAHTOA. You only use SOHCAHTOA for right angle triangle, but for non-right angle triangle you use cosine rule and sine rule. Okay, and then for right angle triangle you use SOHCAHTOA. Also the SOHCAHTOA has got the sine rule. Okay, so but the main thing is to use the SOHCAHTOA. So if you use SOHCAHTOA, we're gonna check what they are looking for. They said show by calculation that x is equal to 60. So we are looking for x. So we are calculating x. Calculating x. So we're gonna get the right angle triangle. So if you check the right angle triangle, you have something like this. Okay, you've got something like this. So this is what you have. I'm not gonna draw a huge diagram. It's just gonna be a simple diagram. So you have something like this. Okay, so this is what you have. I'll just do this here. So you've got a right angle triangle there. So obviously your x, so I tried to rotate this. So obviously this side is 4√3, or and then your hypotenuse is always opposite to 90 degrees. So that will always be on hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse is always your longest side. Okay, so let's go to SOHCAHTOA. So if we use SOHCAHTOA, we check what we are given. So we are given hypotenuse, which is 8. There is your hypotenuse, which is 8. So h is equals to 8. Okay, and then your opposite. What is opposite to what we want? So opposite, you check the opposite angle based on what you are looking for, the unknown. So that x is opposite to this. So that's your opposite. So your opposite is equals to 4√3. So that's your opposite. So your opposite is always this. Whatever that you have there, it's your opposite. And then the opposite, let's say for P, it's alpha. So alpha is opposite to this side right here, the unknown side. So we can name this side Z. So alpha, the opposite for alpha, O is the opposite for X. And then for alpha, the opposite for alpha is z, right? The opposite for alpha is z. Okay, so let's go and calculate. So let's look what we have. We have got hypotenuse and opposite, so we're gonna use sine. So we're gonna say sine x is equals to opposite over hypotenuse, which is equals to arc. Okay, let's do it on the next page. So this will give you sine x, which is equals to opposite over hypotenuse, and then arc sine of opposite over hypotenuse equals to x. Therefore, x will be equals to arc sine of, what is your opposite? So you check what is opposite to x. It's 4 square root 3 over 8. And then x will be equals to, let's bring the calculator, so I want to show you something. So if you check here, you're gonna have to check if your calculator is written d, meaning it's in degrees. Always when you work with the trigonometric functions, ensure that your calculator is in degrees. So you're gonna say shift sine, and then the function, okay, 4 root 3, and then divided by 8. Okay, then that will be 60. So our x is equals to 60 degrees. So that will be your answer. Then let's go to the next question. So the next question, they say calculate the length of AD. So what I normally do is I go back to my diagram, and then I substitute all the values that I have. But in this case, because they don't want anything that has to do with the right angle, they only want us to work with a non-right angle triangle. So as you can see, the non-right angle triangle is the bottom part. So it's the bottom part. The bottom part is the non-right angle triangle. Okay, so they want us to calculate the length AD. AD is this length right here. So that length is part of the non-right angle triangle. So it's a non-right angle triangle. Non-right angle triangle. So for a non-right angle triangle, guys, you use cosine and sine rule. So let me summarize this. So the cosine rule, so I'm gonna write the formula for cosine rule. So cosine rule formula is equals to let's say x squared equals to y squared plus z squared minus 2y and z. And then we write cos theta. So this cos theta, let me give you an example. So if you have got a non-right angle triangle like this, the theta will be the angle that is opposite to x. So the angle is always what is opposite to that. So this side maybe it will be z, and then this side will be y. So the angle theta is the angle that is opposite to the x. So this and this should match. So whenever you've got an equation like this, it means you are looking for x or theta, one of the two, right? One of the two. So theta is the angle that is opposite to that x. So let's say it's alpha there. So the moment you want to use alpha, then it means you are finding y or you are finding alpha. So in this case, you're going to have y squared equals to x squared plus z squared minus 2 into x z, and then cos. What is the angle that is opposite to y? It's alpha. See? So that's a non-right angle triangle for if you want to use cosine rules. And then the sine rule, and then the summary. Let's start with the cosine rule before we go to sine rule. The summary for cosine rule is that cosine rule, you can only use it if you've got one unknown. So it's up to you. If you've got a side, 3 sides, you see, you're given 3 sides. If you're given 3 sides, x, y, and z, it means you're looking for this one. You're looking for the angle. So the formula will tell you. So it will tell you. So it's either given 3 sides, that's when you can use a cosine rule. But by writing down the formula, you'll be able to identify which values are given. So it's either given 3 sides and then plus unknown angle. Then you're calculating the unknown theta. Let me just write unknown theta. Or else we are given 2 sides, which is y and z. It's either given these 2 sides and also the angle, meaning you're looking for x. 2 sides plus theta. Okay, yeah, 2 sides plus theta. So those are the 3 rules. The 2 rules, I mean, the 2 rules. So they're given 3 sides or they're given 2 sides. Okay, then let's go to sine rule. So sine rule, you'll have a over sine a equals to b over sine b equals to over c. So it will on how many do you have. So this one, you use it also for non-right angle triangle. You can use it for non-right angle triangle. So let me draw a diagram there. So you'll have something like this, and then this side is theta, this side is alpha. So this side, let's say it's y, x, and then z, or we can use ABC. It's fine. Let's use ABC so that it can be the same as our formula. So the ABC is the side, capital letter, by the way, capital letter. So look at this. That angle is opposite to that side. So the sine rule says we obviously gonna use any of these 2 formulas. So I just said equals to c over sine c, just for interest sake, but you don't need this side, this one. So here the top part represents the length. The top part represents the length, and the bottom part represents the angle. So this formula, you can only use it if you have got 1, 2, 3. If you have got 3 unknown, the 3 known values. So it means, in summary, we can say you can only use sine rule if you know 2 sides plus 1 angle. So the angle is always the opposite angle. Let me be specific. Always the angle must be the opposite angle. Opposite angle. So when I say the opposite angle, obviously in this case, like we are given side A and side B, and also the angle A. So the angle B, you can only find it if you know the opposite side to that angle B. The opposite side for angle B is that side B. So you check, the opposite is that theta. So in this case it's theta. you check if they are using the opposite angle, because you are given the opposite side. So opposite side goes with the opposite angle. So I had to be specific. And then also it's when you don't know the side. So you don't know the side, you only know this, and two angles. So it's when you know two angles plus one side. Two angles plus one side. Okay, two angles plus one side. Okay, so let's get to the question now that I've done the introduction. That was just the introduction. So calculate the length of AD. So let's go and look at AD. So AD is opposite to what? It's opposite to this side, to this angle, I mean. It's opposite to that angle. Do we know the opposite angle? Do we know the opposite angle? So let's go back to the question. They said in figure below, ACP and ADP are the triangles with 90 degrees, C equals to 90 degrees, and then CP 4, 3, and then AP equals to 8, and then DP equals to 4. PA bisect DPC. Okay, let cap equals to X and dep equals to Y. Okay, so let's check. You see the bisect. Bisect, what does bisect mean? That PA bisect DPC. So it means it affects DPC. Okay, so the bisect means angle P. Let's check. So let's go and check. So CPA will be equals to CP, sorry, not CP, will be equals to DPA. So angle P for both of these, they are equal. So the angles are equal. So you see, P is the common one. P and A, they are common. You see, when it says bisect, it means, say, it's like these angles transfer to the bottom side. So alpha there is equals to the alpha there. So the angles this side on the shaded part, the green part, they are equal because they bisect. They are being bisected. So let's calculate angle alpha. So alpha will be equals to, remember the angles of a triangle add up to 180. The interior angles of a triangle, they add up to 180. So you're going to have alpha plus x plus 90. So alpha will be equals to 180. X, you know that x is 60. So 180 minus, so what is 60 plus 90? 60 plus 90 will give you 150. So alpha will be equals to 30 degrees. Will be 30 degrees. So it means that angle there, it will be 30. You see what I told you? I told you that you cannot find that without knowing the angle that is opposite to that. So the angle there, because it's bisect, is 30. It's 30. Okay. So let's go and calculate now. Now that we know the opposite angle, so you cannot calculate this without knowing the opposite angle of that length that you are looking for. So I always say check the opposite angle. So 4, this length 4 is opposite to y. You see? So let's find this value. So what formula are we gonna use? Let me write the formulas down. You're gonna see you have got a side, and then you want AD. You've got a side angle. You've got this one that is unknown, and also you've got that side. So what formula are you gonna use? So you're given, and also you're given the 8. So let's see what formula you're gonna use. Let me write the formulas down. So it's either you've got the opposite, let's say AD over sine 30 equals to, do you have another angle? You cannot use 4. Let me show you. Because you've got y as unknown. Y is unknown. You see? So since y is unknown, what can you use? You see, you cannot use the sine rule because you need to know at least 2. So you've got 2 unknowns if you use this one. So if you've got 2 unknowns, then it means you have to use the cosine. So you're given 2 sides. You see? 2 sides and 1 angle. 1 opposite angle, to be specific. 1 opposite angle. So AD will be equals to the other sides, which is 8 squared plus 4 squared minus 2 into 8 times 4, and then cos 30 degrees. You see, the angle should be opposite to what you are looking for. Then from there you can just punch it on the calculator as it is. So AD, remember, it's also AD squared. Sorry, I forgot to put squared. It's AD squared. Then you just punch that on the calculator as it is. You're going to have a square root of, remember, you're going to have to remove the square root. So if you punch this on the calculator, you're going to get, let's solve it with the squared first. So you're just going to punch it on the calculator as it is. So you're just going to say 8 squared plus 4 squared minus 2 into 8 times 4 times cos of 30. Okay, you're gonna get 24.57. 24.57. Okay, and then you put the square root now. You're gonna put the square root. So AD will be equals to 4 point. So you put the square root there. It will be 4.96. So this will be your answer. This will be your answer. Okay, let's go to the next questions. So in this question, we are required to prove. Here we are required to prove. So we are doing trig identities. So this one I'll do it on the next episode.